building our families up. We're using the same tools to all meet together at the enterprise. All right. So if you haven't watched the other installments of Path to Wealth 1, 2, and 3, please check those out. Today, we're going to end this series. So that's more of the reason why you want to stick to the end. All right. I can't say it enough. Power and Leadership Enterprise. We're here to build an enterprise. And the thing about wealth is we're comparing this to just getting rich. Because if we don't have the right mindset, then when we get that money, then we're just going to blow it. And we all know we do not want to keep living with regrets. So that's why it's important for us to distinguish getting rich versus getting wealth. Because right now, 2023 and beyond, this is our year. So let's get it. So I said this before, all right? Wealth, and I just said it in the intro, wealth is about a mindset. So with that being said, you have to remember how valuable you are. Even me, if we're all going to do this together, I have to remember how valuable I am. And so there's 4 levels of value. That will be implementation, unification, communication, and imagination. Imagination is that which comes from the kingdom, the king's dominion. That is everything that is in your path, because there is no other person like you. There's no other person like me. So I have to use these gifts. And the thing is, tomorrow is not promised. In this path to wealth, we may make the path, we may have the goals, but it's not promised. All right? So at the same time, if we're all trying to get to this destination, I got to represent, because it may be my kids. It may be my girl. It may be people that have met me in this lifetime that's going to have to tell my story. So it's only best that I put my best foot forward. Okay? Now, let's get right into it. Let's get right into it. So the biggest thing that I want you to walk away with when it comes to the path to wealth is that in this country that we live in, United States of America, it is a business. It is a business. Please do not look at this as just a democracy, looking at this as a great country that sometimes has its mess ups and its screw ups. This is a business. There are 2 sets of constitutions. No one is requiring you to make your kid, when they're born, to have a social security number. You're basically signing your kid up to be a member of this business. All right? So that's what it means by stocks and bonds. And so these terms in this English language, it means something. Even though if you hear them once or twice, when people say, yeah, I'm trying to build up my stock, building up their cabinets of canned goods, their stock. What do you think is going on when we have a stock market? But the thing is, what's driving the stock market? Okay, yeah, you could say business, but the business has, of course, an entrepreneur, the founder or what have you, but it also has the employees, capital. So that's why we run in a capitalist system. Okay, and the thing is, because this capitalist system was based on secrets, and we're going to get to secrets. That's why I want you to watch to the end, because it's based on secrets by a minority, a chosen few or a selected few. That's when we say racism. That's why we say it's a racist society, because this selected few versus others literally wants to run a race. This is about a race for resources. Okay? So in this path to wealth, you have to remember your lane. You have to remember what you're after. You are after resources. Resources, hence assets. Assets that which can make you money. Not liabilities that takes away the money that you work so hard for. And the thing is, I've just mentioned about value. If you're at the implementation level, which is like 0 to 40,000, then you're not gonna feel your value. Hence, you're gonna feel bad when you're working at your workplace. You're gonna feel bad when, say, you got a business on the side. You're not gonna feel as motivated because you're not getting your value, but you're operating at the lowest level of value. But if we remember, what we're after is resources that builds our net income, then our value is going to be higher. Hence, we're going to want to communicate. We're going to want to talk. Going to want to unify our families. Hence, you're raising your level of value to the highest level, to a higher level. We're going to get into how that even works in the first place. So, stocks, bonds. You hear about bonds. My community specifically, we don't get into these type of terms, but at the same time, when it comes to relationships, we know about creating a bond. Don't think this is a mistake or a coincidence that we're using bonds as something that's creating generational wealth, but at the same time, creating that which keeps relationships together. It's a relationship. It's a relationship. Business is about relationships. When we are in our workplaces, we are building relationships. Sometimes some of the best friends that we have met in our life are the people that we have worked with. Okay? So that makes me want to get into the next topic when it comes to the path of wealth and us talking about relationships is politics. Okay? We could look at politics as voting for presidents, but at the same time, we are setting precedents, okay? Now, the thing is, when we think about these terms, when we think about like George Washington and all these other presidents, make no mistake about it, when these terms were created, sometimes people use them interchangeably. So, now, we're going into my personal opinion, but just follow me for a second. Precedents. There are certain people that set precedents as far as how we are operating as a business. Okay? But with politics, it works in the workplace and also in negotiating terms. So we have to really know who we're doing business with. And don't think just because someone is on the same level as you when we're in a workplace, or if we're just networking, we're still doing business. Anytime we open up our eyes, anytime we open up our mouths, and we're out here and we're operating in this marketplace, because this, I can't say it enough, U.S. is a business. We're marketing. We're politicking. And it's another thing when you hear about politics, you hear people have the spinoff politricks. Poly meaning more than one, tricks. So there's people that have hidden agendas. I would say a lot that we're dealing with warfare between good and evil. So you have some people amongst you that, yes, they may not be trustworthy, but you got to watch their language. You got to watch their language. You got to watch how they're talking. You got to watch how your bosses are talking. You got to watch how the people that you are negotiating with are talking, okay? And the reason why I say that is because we're dealing with transactional situations, verbal agreements. What does that mean? In our path to wealth, that means we are always in a contractual state. We're always having contracts. And so I would tell anyone, start looking at your contract. Because when you go into a place of employment, you're really signing a contract. But at the same time, if you're a business owner, you are doing contracts. It can be a contract in faith. Hence, someone gives you money for a service or a product. So I would suggest anyone that's looking at this video to let the next person know we got to start getting into contracts, sharing, and putting a caption. We got to start getting into contracts. On this path to wealth, we got to understand that even when we're talking, it's a contract. Even with our friends, this is a contract. So with that being said, watch your people's nonverbals. 85% of communication is nonverbal. Shout out to Beanie Siegel and Feel It in the Air. 85% of communication is nonverbal. Okay? So watch people's body language. Watch this language, because all of that goes into the politics and how others respond to it. And don't think reality is not what it is, because those are the politics, or like I said, the poly tricks. There are definitely secret arrangements in this life, in business. We do arrangements when we prepare for our marketing tactics. Let me tell you something about marketing. It may deal with what wardrobe am I going to wear? What lighting? What day of the week? What is my schedule opened up to? Who is going to see this? Who do I want to see this? What message am I conveying? And how does this match with the long-term message and what I really stand by? That's the brand. Anything over a year. Okay? So don't forget that marketing is the way we present ourselves, but people set up arrangements. They may have secret agendas. I can't say that enough, man. On this path to wealth, watch your contractual agreements. Watch people's non-verbals. At the same time, we're building assets with the right mindset. I'm trying to put this all together so you can keep following me. Okay? Because the thing about politics, these lead to policies. The people that make the rules. And so our mission is to set precedents with those creating the policies. Okay? You want to be able to get in these inner circles, still keep your integrity, but it's about the policies. Those are the terms of the contract. And if you're confident about yourself and what you represent, then people have to include your character, your personality, and the things that you want on this path to wealth. But you got to be real about yourself. Character. We're going to get into character, but with all due respect, everything I just mentioned is about accountability. All right? We want to be the masters of our fate, to not sell our souls, but at the same time, when I'm saying marketing, we want to sell our present. We want to sell our present. That is us, everything that makes us. So that's why it's important that anything that you say after I am is something of abundance and something of greatness. You want to sell your present, because we don't know if the future is promised and the past is already behind us. All right? And so our present is based on our brand strategy, our long-term goal. Everything is built on character. And so building character is like building a persona, a representation of yourself. And it's best that your representation of yourself is built on identity and not ego. And the thing is, you want to experience, you want to build this off of experience, and that would be wisdom. That you taking the inner courage, not outer courage, not outer, because that's dealing with ego. Ego is using your past and making sure you don't repeat the mistakes of your past. Really, that's fear, false evidence appearing real, looking at your past, and then trying to avoid that from happening. Okay? Because in this life, the gifts that you have, it will be represented. It will be represented, and that's why on this path to wealth, we want to build legacy. Here is my take on legacy. How long will your name live after you die? How long will your name live after you die? After years after we passed away, if we was to look down on our tombstones, how often Are our loved ones coming to visit? Was everything that you did in vain? Was everything that you did was for self? So when we think about this path to wealth, it's not just about us, it's about everybody, so that we can look back on our past and say, yes, they felt my message. They're still carrying my name. They're still coming to visit me. Okay? So be the master of your fate. You don't have to sell your soul, but you can sell your present. You being in the now, but you can sell your present, the gift of you, because you are the only you. You are the only you. There's no one going to be like you, no matter who you grew up with, no matter how your parents raised you. They know you, but you know you the best. But at the same time, you can't see yourself. All you see is a reflection. So all you have to do is operate in that form of vision and not operate from what you just see, not operate from what your circumstance is. Okay? And this energy that you feel, it's a reason for that. It's a reason for that. That's why I want you to stick around to the end, because money follows speed. Money follows speed. So don't procrastinate. They say procrastination is the thief of time. So if we're talking about time and then we're talking about money, then we know that money is not the most important thing and time is more valuable than money. Yes. That's the mindset change. When you're focusing on vision, but you respect time. At the same time, I'm talking about death a little bit. Respect your grave. Respect your grave. So please do not procrastinate on your goals and just operate on the present, because tomorrow has its own problems. Currency, now because we're talking about money, and we're trying to make a big distinction. Currency is paper federal notes, which used to be greenbacks. These were made in faith. So understand money as a spiritual concept. And then, like I said, when I'm talking about spiritual, I'm talking about the eternity of I am, that which is in the now, not in the past or in the future. So if it's a spiritual concept, then it's best to operate on faith. And all you can do is be your best. That's the gift of it. All you can do is be your best. And that means being the best version of yourself. All right? But like as I mentioned, currency was made in faith for exchange and barter for crops due in its rightful season. So paper currency was our first credit system. Remember these terms. You hear people say, "Oh, come on, man, give me some credit. Give me some credit." Because of the faith within that relationship. That's one of the takeaways. A greater relationship. A greater relationship to your vision. A greater relationship to the contractual agreements. A greater relationship to the language that we are presenting ourselves in the now, but at the same time, the language that we witness others are giving us, but to only use it to our advantage to be an effect, or have an effect, should I say, on policies. All right? Understand this. Currency is the paper fiat money in circulation, which used to be based on its weight in gold, but that has changed. A higher frequency is associated with power. On this path, it is better to operate in power versus force. So you will always hear me say that it's better for things to be revealed than for you to try to figure them out. You don't want to operate in that lower power frequency of trying to figure things out. I've tried that. It does not work. Okay? So frequency is the energy, and that is the ability and the intuition. That intuition is only the now, and that's why it's so much of a gift, and that's why you are so much of a gift. So on this path, look ahead. Look ahead. Make those goals. Make those milestones. Chase after them. But know that you only have right now. And so you just try to work on that contractual agreement really with yourself, but also with others, and knowing the intuition, knowing the nonverbals that you see, and knowing how far you can take someone with you, and at the same time knowing that you got to get what you need out of a situation. We all trying to be resourceful, man. But we all going to meet up at the same spot. The enterprise. You know, that's what this path to wealth all means, man. And the thing is, the enterprise, it's not just me. It's you. It's the people around you. So with that being said, share this. Share this and create a conversation. Comment. Because this is the discussion that we need. And like it, you know, we want to make sure that the algorithm gets other people involved in this. Because this is a movement. I appreciate your time with me. Hey, y'all be easy.